So first of all, um, if you guys have done your homework, more specifically the solo learn, it would be nice if you could like upload a screenshot of that into your into like the homework area, just to make sure that like we know that you did it, kind of thing. And if you haven't done it, I mean that's I would say it's fine, but it's not really fine. It's this is pretty important. Like homework is a pretty integral part of Future of Tanzania, so it's really important that you do the homework, not only just like the simple problems that we gave you, but also the solo learn that we also gave you. Um, Speaking of the simple exercises, while you guys are doing that, I'll be going over questions 3 and 4 of the simple exercise, and also if you guys have any other like questions, if there's like another problem that you need help on, then I'll be happy to go through that as well. So give me a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. Um. hmm. So yeah. Uh. Problem 3 and problem 4. Again, we'll be using. I don't know why this is back here. Erase that. Um. I'll be using the online python.com again, because that's what we used last time. And I'll just go over problems 3 and 4, just like right away. So first one, create a Python program that takes a first name and last name as inputs and prints the names with the first letter of each name capitalized. So basically, if we have an input as a first name, an input as a last name, we want to say, hello, my name is, and then just capitalize the first and the last letter. Or sorry, the first letter of the first name and the first letter of the last name. So like, for example, this. And also do the same for if you input it as uppercase letters, all uppercase, then it should still output the same thing. It shouldn't matter the capitalization of any of the letters. So yeah, we'll get into that. So of course, the first thing we need to do is get a user input, and I'll be calling this f name and l name for first name and last name, and then if you remember, we use the input. That's input function to get a user input from our console. And the thing that we ask, input your first name. So I'll put that in there. Input your first name. And then I'll do the same for here. Input, but instead of input your first name, we'll put input your last name. Oops. There you go. So now we have our F name and L name to work with. Yeah. So these are where we're going to be getting our first name and last name inputs, and after that, we just need to print out this. Now I think I went over strings last time, and that's something important that we're that is definitely being used in this problem. So what we'll do is we'll print out hello, my name is, and then we'll add our okay. So what we want is the first letter of each thing uppercase and the rest to be lowercase. Now, if you remember, there's a way to make stuff uppercase, and there's also a way to make stuff lowercase using the dot upper and dot lower functions. And since we want to specify that we only want the first name, or the first letter of the first name and last name, we can do something like this. F name 0 dot upper, and then space, and then oh wait, no, not a space there. We go F name 1 to the end dot lower, because if you remember, we also need to make sure that even if it's all capitalized, we still want it lowercase at the rest. And then we do the same for the last name. So we have lname 0 dot upper plus lname 1 to the end dot lower, and then that will be the end of that. So this should work. Aiden Park, and it works. Hello, my name's Aiden Park. If we run it again, I'll do it all in capitalized this time, and it still outputs the same thing. So yeah, that is problem 3. And now we'll move on to problem 4. We need to create a Python program that modifies problem 3 so we can use the same code that we had earlier. But this time we want to do the exact same thing, but with the last name, we just want the first initial and a period at the end. So of course, in that case, we can just completely ignore everything from the first line all the way up to here, because we're only dealing with stuff from the last name, so this area. First of all, first thing we can do, we can take away this part, because we don't need it at all. We don't need this ARK. This could be anything that we want. As long as the first letter still stays at P, this is always going to be P. So we don't need to worry about that. And now here, if we were to run this now, it'll give this. But we also need to remember that there's a period at the end. So the simple fix, just add a period like that. And now if we run it, it should still be fine. And then we can even try it with capital letters, and it still works. So yeah, that's problem 3 and problem 4. Yeah. Does anybody have any other problems they want to go over? 5, 6, and 7 out of those 3? Because I'd be happy to go over those too. Okay, I'll just assume that. Okay, yeah, I'll assume that there's no other problems because everything else, no one's really saying anything. So yeah, that's really everything. That's the homework check done. Please remember, if you guys have solo learn that's finished, please try to screenshot that and put that in the chat. And yeah, I'll pass it off to myself actually. Hold on. Okay. I'll pass it off to Baron just to do like introductions and stuff. I feel like we should have done this first day, but might be better to get to know us a little bit. So I'll pass it off to Baron for that.
Yeah, so Hariel says that the camera is working for you guys. So yeah, looks like it is working. So maybe we can get an introduction of the students first, and then after that, all the teachers can go in like alphabetic order.
Okay. Unakuja hapa. Lazima ukae hapa tuone. Usimame.
Hello, my name is Nice Martin Godfrey. I am a Form 4 student from Edmund Rice Secondary School. and I am happy to study with you Python.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Joseph. I come from Mauritius Secondary. I'm happy to study Python.
Nice to meet you, Joseph.
I'm from Future Secondary School. I'm from graduate. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Oscar Wilfred Mushi. I am from first to happy to study Python. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
My name is Walter Zakaria. I'm a Form 4 graduate from Kimaseki Secondary School. I'm happy to study with you Python.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Shadrach. I'm a Form 4 graduate from Kimaseki. I'm happy to study Python again.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Elisha Stratton. I'm from 4 graduate from Edmund Rice North Secondary School. I'm happy to study with Python.
We're happy to teach you
Hi,
Python.
I'm Shamim. I'm from St. Jude Girls Secondary School. I'm happy to study Python.
Nice to meet
Hi, my name is Charles, graduate from Kimaseki Secondary School, and I'm happy to study Python.
you. Nice to meet you too.
Hello, my name is Gibson Josephat. I'm a graduate from Kimaseki Secondary School. I'm happy to study with you Python.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah. I'm a Form 4 graduate from Kimaseki, and I'm happy to study Python.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Tori Shuri, from graduate from Kawasaki Secondary School. I'm happy to study with you Python.
Hi, I'm Lucky, a 4 graduate from Kawasaki Secondary. I'm happy to study with you Python.
I'm happy to study with you too.
Yeah, I think we are done with the students.
Okay. That was everyone?
Yeah, like
Okay.
13 of them.
Wow. That's I think that's Aiden, is that more or less from last year? I think that's like a little more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit more.
Yeah. Ariel, how many students did we have for the summer?
I think like 11. We're like 12,
Oh,
but
so definitely a little bit more, huh?
yes.
Yeah, I feel like that was a little more.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that. And now the teachers can introduce themselves alphabetically. So it'll be Aiden and then me and then so on.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll start. My name is Aiden Park. I'm in 11th grade. I'm 16 years old. I mainly code in Python, which is a reason why I'm teaching this. And I just want to say, like, a little fun fact. I have, I don't know. I don't really like ice cream.
Okay. So that was Aiden. I'm Baron Kim, and I'm in 11th grade. I'm 17 years old, and my main coding language is Java. And in my free time, I'd say, I mean, I'm a big film fanatic, and I also enjoy watching shows as well. So I guess right now I'm watching a show called Shameless. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but it's a pretty funny show. And yeah, that's it for me.
Hello, my name is Benjamin. I am in 10th grade. My interest is preferably around computers, so hence why I'm such interested in coding here. My primary language is actually Java. I learned Python a while before. On my free time, I enjoy cycling around a lot. I do road racing, those kind of stuff. And then, fun fact about me, not much. I race bikes a lot. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jihu Lim. I'm a 10th grader and I'm 15 years old. I started learning coding in Python, but now I mainly do Java. And one fun fact about me is I have a dog named Panda.
Hi, my name is Peter. I'm in 10th grade. I'm 15 years old, and I really enjoy music. Like main coding language is Python. Yeah. Oh, actually, a fun fact about me: I have a twin brother.
Hello, everyone. Hold on. Outing. 정말 이거 어떻게 되는지 모르겠네. Hello. Anyway. Hello. I am Chia Lee. Nice to meet you, everyone. My age is let's have fun studying. Yeah. I do homework every day.
Yeah, guys. So that was our voice of calling advisor, Chiyun teacher. And so now that we're done with introductions, we can go ahead and continue with our lesson. So I believe the next thing in our agenda is Aiden, who will be finishing the string part in our lesson.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're actually doing that specifically because I believe we went over all the string stuffs from last time. So I'll just move on to the thing after that, which is basically doing a bunch of different exercises about the stuff that we've learned already. So yeah, I'll be going over that now. Just give me 1 second to share my screen again. Okay. So yeah, this is what we're going to be doing for the next bit. Just saying this is kind of interactive thing. I'm just going to be showing a question. I'm going to explain it slightly, and then it's going to be I'm going to ask you guys for the answer if you guys have an answer, and then I see if I see a right answer, I'll fill it in. So yeah, that's how this section is going to work. So yeah, first exercise. We want to insert the missing part of the code to output hello world in the console, I guess it's saying. So what word would you put inside this specific blank to output? Yeah, that's correct. It would be a print. Just a simple print statement. Okay. I actually don't think we have done this yet. Okay. Yeah, so comments in Python are written with a special character. Which special character would that be? Okay, I think you guys are writing the right thing, but accidentally pinging a channel. But yeah, I think you guys are meaning to say the hashtag, which is correct. And yeah, hashtags are basically the way to write comments inside of Python. So yeah. This is also something that we don't need to do. Okay. For this one, what we want to do is we want to create a variable named car name and assign the value Volvo to it. So what's the way that we would do this? Okay. Print wouldn't exactly be the right thing here, because of the fact that we don't want to put anything into the console. We don't want to output anything. We just want to create a variable and assign Volvo to it. For the few that are saying like car name is equal to Volvo, that is correct. We have car name equal to Volvo, because we're starting with the name of our variable and then putting a value, or in this case, a string Volvo into it. So good job. Good job. Okay. Another variable exercise. We want to create a variable named x and assign the value 50 to it. Yeah, you guys are getting the hang of this. Start with x, and then we put the value 50 into it. Pretty straightforward, I'd say. Yeah, good job. Okay, this one's a little more complicated. So we want to display the number of 5 plus 10 using two variables x and y. So what goes into the three blanks in these? Okay, yeah, the first part's correct. You guys got the first part correct. X equals 5. But now what will we put inside this blank? Yeah, that's correct. We would put a plus inside of it because we want to add 5 and 10, specifically by using x and y. Nice. Okay. Doing something very similar here. Instead of printing x plus y, we're putting it into another variable and then printing that variable. So, what would we put here? Yeah, very nice, very nice. You put z in both of these, because we're assigning z to x plus y, and then printing that variable. So yeah, good job. You guys are really good at this. Okay, I think we can do this one. We want to put the correct syntax to assign multiple variables to assign values to multiple variables in one line. Actually, I don't know if we've done this. Maybe we have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's indeed a comma and then another comma. This isn't used very often, I'd say, but it does exist, and you are allowed to do it in Python. So yeah, good job, everyone. Everyone who got it. Okay, I saw someone already do this by accident, but here we want to assign x, y, z all to orange, all in one line. So what will we put in these two, in these three blanks? Yeah, good job. We want to put equals in all of them because we're assigning x to y to z and all to orange. Great job. Okay. Insert the correct key. Oh wait, we haven't done this. Sorry. Okay. Following code example would print the data type of x. What data type would that be? So basically, what is the type of variable that x is in this case? Yeah, that would be correct. It would be an int. For those of you who said 5, technically that's true. It is 5, but we're trying to figure out the type specifically, and the type is an integer because it's a number without a decimal point. Okay, same thing, but we have a different x now. So now, what would the data type of this be? Yeah, good job. String, short str. Good job, everyone. I didn't even have to say the question. Yeah, you guys are already getting it pretty fast. Yeah, float. That is correct. Okay. Next one. It's just we're putting multiple different things inside of X. Not sure if we've gone over this one specifically, but hopefully you guys know this. We'll see. Yeah, it is indeed a list. And this is kind of stuff we'll be going over later today, but for those of you who already know it, yes, this is indeed a list. Okay, next one. Slightly different. Instead of using square brackets, we're using parentheses. So what data type would this one end up being? It's fine if you don't know it. Just because I think we're going over it today, but it would be nice if you guys like give it a try. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what you guys come up with. Okay. Yeah. For the one person that said string, this wouldn't exactly be a string. Though that is a good guess because we do have multiple strings inside of it. But this one is going to end up being what we call a tuple. Again, it's fine if you guys don't know about this because, like I said, we're going over it in depth today. But just know this is called a tuple. Ooh. Okay. Again, I don't think we've gone over this yet, but to those of you who think you might know the answer, maybe you can try. Okay, yeah, you guys seem to have gotten it. Yeah, dictionary. It's a dictionary, but with I mean, of course, since we have to abbreviate it, we're just using dict. Good job, everyone. Okay, last one in this section. We're just doing the data type of x again, but now we have x is equal to true. So what data type would this end up being? Yep, nice. This would be a Boolean, shortened as bool. Good job. Okay, next section. So here we want to insert the correct syntax to convert x into a floating point number. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, just it's a float. It's the long word for float. Yeah, good job. Just doing some variable casting. We're turning this into a float by just putting float of x. Okay, we're doing the same thing, but now we're trying to convert it into an integer. Yep, that is correct. We are indeed going to be using int, short for integer. And then this one we haven't done. So we'll just skip that. Oh, I mean, I guess you guys do know that. I can go back to it for a second. Yeah, that is going to be complex. Okay, next one. Here we want to use a len function to print the length of this string. So what would we put inside of this print statement to make that true? Okay, yeah. What you would put inside here is len x. For the people who just said len, you're nearly correct, but the problem is that len is a function, and functions need inputs, usually. And, I mean, if we just had len here, the function wouldn't know what it's trying to take the length of. So that's why you need the length of x specifically. Okay. Now we're trying to get the first character of the string txt. So txt, of course, being hello world. How would we get the first character of it? Okay, nice. Guys are good at this. txt 0. Because of course, if you guys remember, Python always starts at 0 rather than 1. Okay. Now we want to get the characters from index 2, so this L, to index 4, which is this O. So what would we put inside the blank for this one? Okay, yeah. The answer would be txt 2 to 5. For the one person that put 2 to 4, that's not exactly true because if you were to do 2 to 4, it would it excludes whatever the ending number is. So that means that it would exclude the O, which is not what we want. We need to exclude this and keep all three of these in first. So it's going to be 2 to 5. Okay. So yeah, return to string without any white space at the beginning or the end. Yeah. Just get rid of the white space at the beginning or the end. Yeah, you guys got it. txt.strip. And all that txt.strip does is do exactly what we want to do. Take away white space at the beginning and end. Okay, now we want to convert the value of txt to uppercase. So we want to turn this whole thing into uppercase letters. Yep, that is correct. It would just be txt.upper. Kind of like the when we used it in the previous problem for like problem 3 and problem 4. Same thing, but now we're trying to convert it into lowercase. So how do we do this one? Yeah, that is good. txt dot lower. That is good. Okay, so now we want to replace the H character here with a J. So what would we do for this one? Okay. I'm seeing some mixed answers here. Yeah, the thing that you would do here, I mean, the thing that you all got right, replace. That is indeed the thing that you put in here. But for these, you're going to have to do these specifically. And the reason for that is because I see a lot of you using lower cases in your answers, and that doesn't exactly work because Python is case sensitive. So this would be way different from doing this. If you were to put a lowercase there, it wouldn't detect this as a lowercase h, and it wouldn't replace it correctly. So you need to make sure that you have uppercases for both of them. And also remember to have quotation marks on either side to show that they're strings. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now we're doing some string formatting, I think. Insert the correct syntax to add a placeholder for the age parameter. Okay, yeah, nice. Curly brackets. Curly brackets are the placeholder for formatting text. Nice. Okay, now we're doing some booleans. This statement below produced a boolean value. What boolean value would it produce? Yeah, this would be a true. Or wait, hold on. Yeah, this would be true because 10 is greater than 9, so it would have to be true. Yeah. Same thing here. We're basically checking if 10 is equal to 9. Yeah, of course, 10 isn't equal to 9, so it would have to be false. Also, I know it's probably not directly your fault specifically, but like, just make sure when you're using Boolean values that you make the first letter uppercase, because as I said, Python's case sensitive, so there's a big difference between false with a lowercase f and false with an uppercase f. Because false with a lowercase f is going to end up with an error, while the other one's going to be is going to be completely fine. And I'm guessing you guys were answering this one, but yeah, this is indeed false. Oops. Okay. Now we want to print bool of ABC. So what would we do for that one? Yeah, this would have to be true. And that's because when we're variable casting to a bool for a string, all it has to do is have something inside of it in order for it to be considered true. Good job. And now we're variable casting 0 into a bool. So what would this end up with? Yeah, so this one would end up false. And that's because when we have a number being variable casted, whether it's a float or an integer, the only way that a bool variable casting the number to a bool can be false is when it's 0 or 0.0 for a float. Otherwise, it's always going to be true. Okay, and the last section we'll be going over for now. Want to multiply 10 with 5 and print the result. So what would we put inside here? Yep, that is correct. The asterisk, because the asterisk symbol is showing multiplication in Python. Okay, now I want to divide 10 by 2. Yeah, that's correct. If you guys remember, the division symbol is going to be this /, and that's how we divide in Python. Okay, here we want to use the correct operator to check if apple is present in the fruits object. I think I went over this tangentially, but I don't think I went over it specifically. So maybe you guys can try it. I don't know if we know this or not. So yeah, good job. It is indeed in. Okay. Now we're going to check if 5 is not equal to 10. So what operator do we use in this blank to show that it's not equal? Or check if it's not equal, I guess. Okay. Yeah, so the correct answer is going to have to be exclamation mark equals. Not while being an operator, technically, is not a comparison operator, especially not for not equals. Not is an operator that just flips the value of whatever value we put into it. So yeah. And then the last one, use the correct logical operator to check if at least one of these two statements is true. This is the important part. Okay, yeah, I see a few of you getting the answer. This would have to be or. If you were thinking it was and, that wouldn't exactly be correct because and it would have to be at least one of the two statements is false. And yeah, that's all the exercise we're going over today. So yeah, now I'll pass it off to Baron again to talk about or just start talking about lists.
Yeah, so now we're going to be talking about lists. So I will go ahead and share my screen. So yeah, you guys have probably gotten a little taste of lists as we were doing some exercises on them. But I'll just go ahead and start by giving a quick overview. All right, so lists are used to store multiple values in a single variable, right? So as you can see, here's an okay, you guys can all, hopefully you guys can see my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, basically what lists are they are variables that can hold multiple items. And so here's an example of a list, right? We have the name of the list here. And in order to make a list, you're going to have two brackets. And then you're going to store any values inside, right? So you can have strings, right? So you can have multiple values, as I said, in list, but you need to make sure that you're separating them using commas, okay? So they are one of the data types used in Python to store something called a collection. And basically, all collections do is store multiple values in one variable. So there's 4 different types of variables that do that. The one we're looking at right now is a list. Then there's tuples, sets, and dictionaries, which we'll all be looking at today. So yeah, here's an example of another list, or actually it's the same list that we were looking at, just with a different name. And you can print out a list, right? And let's look at what happens when we print out a list. So yeah, as you can see, it just prints out exactly what we see here, except with single quotes. And remember that single quotes, double quotes doesn't really matter in Python. So yeah, that's basically all that shows up when we post or when we print a list is just the thing right here that we already made. Okay, it doesn't do anything too fancy. So for list items, lists are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. So what this means is that lists have an order. Apple will always be first, banana will always be second, cherry will always be third. For some of these other data types, right? So like sets, for example, sets are unordered. There is no order, okay? It doesn't matter whether Apple is second, third, or first, the set doesn't care about that. But for lists, they do care. So this is always going to be first, this is always going to be second, that's always going to be third. Changeable means that you can change the values inside of them. Right? You can delete things in the list, you can rearrange them, you can add new values, all sorts of things like that, right? And they also allow duplicate values. So you can have 2 apples, okay? In this list, you can have 2 apples. And that also is kind of related to how we have basically the 2, basically how we have orders in a list. So because we have an apple at the first position and an apple, let's say if we have it at the 4th position, even though they have the same multiple or duplicate values, okay? And then list items are indexed, right? So basically how indexing works is similar to like a string index, right? the first thing is it starts at 0. So this is the 0th item. This is the first item, technically, and this is the second item. Okay, so just remember that. And so when we say that lists are ordered, it means that the items have a defined order, and that order will not change. If you add an item to the list, the new item will be placed at the end of the list. Pretty straightforward. And there are some list methods that will change the order, which we're going to look at later. But for now, you don't have to worry about that. And then, yeah, finally, the list is changeable, so we can add, change, add, and remove items in a list after it's created. So allowing duplicates, right? This is what I just went over, right? It's because we have orders, we can have multiple of the same value. Okay. So we also have list items. So list length. So basically what we use for the determining the length of a list is the len function. And so here we have one of the lists that we were looking at here, right? And we're going to use the len function and we're going to print out the length of the list. So basically putting in the list name in the len function will just print out how many items there are, right? So if we look at this example, as you can see, once we print out the len of the list, this list, then it'll give us 3 because there are 3 items. So that's going to be the length. Okay. And the next thing is data types, right? So lists can have any data type inside of them. So here's some examples. This is a list with all strings. This is a list with all ints. And this is a list with all booleans. Okay, so we can also have lists with multiple data types inside of them. So here we can see there's a lot of different data types here. We have a list this list has strings, ints, booleans, right? All sorts of things. So that's something interesting that you won't see in some other coding languages, right? Is that you can have a collection with multiple different data types inside of it, right? Now, obviously, this is not great in practice because if you're trying to do a for loop and do the same thing for every single item in that list, sometimes it might get confusing. But yeah, as you can see, when we print out this list with multiple different data types in it, it's just going to show up same thing as when we print out any other list. Okay. So for the next part of lists, we have the type command. Okay. So the type command, right, is just going to return the type of the variable that is inside of the input. So if we're asking for the type of my list, obviously that's going to say class list, okay, because this is a list. So it's going to say, oh, this is a list, and it's going to print that out. And so we also have the list constructor. So the list constructor is basically just another way of making a list. It's really convenient because tuples, lists, and sets and dictionaries all use different types of, I guess, brackets, right? So this uses parentheses. The other ones use like square brackets, curly brackets, right? Just all sorts of different things, and it can obviously get kind of confusing. So what you can do is instead of just using the whatever brackets it is, you can just say like variable name equals and then list, and then you can have your list values inside of it. Okay, and this will just make a list. It's just making a list in a different way. As you can see here, when we print out our list, it shows it in the order that we gave and as a list format, as you can see with the square brackets. So yeah, that is the basic commands of the list, and then we can move on to how to access list items. So as we said before, lists use indexes, and I'll zoom in just in case some of you, maybe you guys can't see it, but just in case I'll zoom in just so everyone can see it. But so let's say that we have our list that we've been using for all of these examples almost, right? And we print out this list index 1. Before I click try it for yourself, can anyone tell me what they think it will print out once we run this code? Yeah, so it is going to print out banana. You guys are correct. Shamim, so it's not going to print out banana with the quotes, I believe, but it's going to just print it out just banana the word, okay? So that's just one important thing to remember. It's not going to have the quotes, but good job to everyone. Thank you for participating. Okay. So that's how you access items, right? So actually, let's go back to this. So if I want to access the third item in the list, since we're using indexes, we're going to do this list of 2, right? And then this is going to print out the third value in the list, which is going to be cherry. Okay. So as you can see here, it prints out cherry because we're accessing the third value in the list, which is at the second index. Okay. So negative indexing. This is where it gets a little confusing. So make sure to pay attention. And basically what negative indexing is it means that you start indexing, but from the end. So -1 refers to the last item. -2 refers to the second last item. And -3 would refer to the third last item. Okay. So all we're doing is we're counting backwards. Okay, so can someone tell me what this code would print out once run? So if we print out this list and then we do a negative index of -1, what is that going to print out? Yep. Yep, it is cherry. Good job, guys. So you guys are picking this up really fast. It is going to print out cherry because that's obviously the last item. And so if we were to, let's say, if I want to do the third to last item, right? That's going to be, this is the first to last. This is the last, first to last item, second to last item, third to last item. It's going to print out apple. Okay. And let's say that I ask it to print out the fourth to last item. We don't have a fourth to last item. We only have up to 3. But let's see what happens when we do -4. So as you can see, it says index error, list index out of range, which means that basically the compiler doesn't know what you're trying to reference. It's saying that, hey, this list doesn't have a fourth to last item. Okay, that's the error that it's giving us with the index error. Okay, so moving on. Range of indexes. So you can specify a range of indexes, basically just asking it to start and finish at a certain place. So let's say that you want to print out the second, the third, fourth, and fifth item. Okay, it gets a little confusing, but basically this is inclusive, except the last number that you give. Okay, so let me explain what that means. So here we have, this is index 0, right? Index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So inclusive, but except the last number, means that we're going to print out indexes 3, 4, and 5. Or sorry, indexes 2, 3, and 4, which is item numbers 3, 4, and 5, right? Because indexes are just one behind. So let's go to index 2. So 0, 1, 2. This is index 2. Okay, we're going to print out 3 as well because it's included, and 4, but we're not going to include 5. Remember, because we're gonna we're not going to do 5. The last number we're never going to use when we do a range of indexes. So 2, 3, 4, right? Indexes 2, 3, and 4. That's what we're going to print out. Okay, so when I click print for here, it's going to print out cherry, orange, and kiwi. And if I said 2 to 6, right? then it's going to print out everything from 2 to 5, right? Because now it's going to exclude the 6. So it will print out 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So yeah, remember the search will start at 2 and end at 5, which is not included. Okay. So index 2 is included, index 5 is not included. Okay. The ending number is not included. And the first item has an index of 0. Just keep that in mind. Also, if we leave out the start value, then the list will automatically begin counting at index 0. So as you can see here, we don't have a start value, right? But we have a colon and a finishing value. So that means that we are doing a range of indexes, but the computer is not given the starting value. So it's automatically going to assume that that is at 0. And it's going to start here, right? Apple, which is 0. And it's not going to include 4, remember? So it's going to do 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So if we try this out for ourselves, as you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3, because it doesn't include the 4. So it returns the items from index 0 to index 4. But remember that index 0 is the first item and index 4 is the fifth item, and index 4 is not included. Okay. So just to clarify, this means that it starts at 0 and ends at index 3 because 4 is not included. Okay. And we can do the same thing for the end value, but in this case, everything is included. Okay. So 2 is included and the end value is included and everything in between. So if we were to try this out for ourselves, basically, it would give us cherry, orange, kiwi, melon, and mango because we start at index 2 and we print out everything until the end because we don't have an end value here. So you can think of it this way. When we're not given a starting value, we start at 0. If we're not given an ending value, we end at 0. Or so we end at the last value, right? So which is mango in this case. And whenever we have whenever we have a set ending value, so if we're given a number for the ending value, let's say 5, we include everything like before 5. Okay. So let's say we have like 2 to 5, right? 2, 3, and 4. Just to clarify everything that we've learned so far. Range of negative indexes. This is where it gets really confusing. So make sure you guys are paying attention. So this returns items from the negative fourth, the fourth to last, all the way to the first to last, right? So basically, but except it's not going to include the ending value here as well. So you can think of it as we're counting backwards to negative 4, and then we're counting back up to negative 1, but not including negative 1. Okay? So yeah, as you guys can see, it's going to print out.
Aaron, the power went out. They say pause the lesson.
Oh, okay. Okay. Great. So yeah, we can. I'll just briefly go. I'll just start over again for negative indexes. So yeah, basically what negative indexes are is it's the same thing as the range of positive indexes, but for negative indexes, obviously. So it's going to be the same concept, just counting backwards. So we're going to start at the fourth to last item and count all the way up to the first to last item, but not include it. Okay, so what's the fourth to last item here? It would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Orange. Okay. And now we're going to count all the way up to the last item, but we're not going to count that one. Okay. So we count all the way up to it, but we're not going to include the first to last item. So when we print this out, right, this list ranges -4 to -1. It's going to print out orange, kiwi, melon, right? Because we're not going to include this one, but we're going to include everything up to it from -4. Okay. And then remember, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat, because I know this concept might have been a little bit confusing. But moving on, we can also check if an item exists. So basically, we can use the if statements. I think you guys know about if statements, hopefully. But basically, all we're doing is we're basically checking whether an item is inside of the list or not. So we have this list declared here, right? And then we're going to use an if statement. So if apple is in this list, then we're going to do something. Okay. So it's going to say, yes, apple is in the first list. So that basically what we're using is the in command, okay, to check if something is in a list. So if we're checking if apple is in this list, yes, apple is in the fruits list, okay? And as you can see, since apple is inside, it's going to say yes. Well, let's check if let's check if mango is in this list. And if it is, then we're going to say yes, mango is in this fruits list. However, when we click run, you guys will see that when it loads, yeah, you guys will see that there's actually nothing printed. And that's because obviously mango is not in this list. Okay. So that's it for accessing list items. Next thing is changing list items. So basically this is just updating item values. So remember that lists are changeable, right? So if we want to change the value at index 1 to something else, we're just going to say this list, and then we're going to use the brackets and say index 1 equals, and then this, and it's just going to update it. Super simple, right? As you can see, the updated list is being printed out here, and it's going to say apple, blackcurrant, and cherry. Okay, and then now changing a range of item values. So here we can see that we're changing all the items from 1 to 3, excluding 3. So we're going to be changing these two basically. Okay. And so we're changing these to blackcurrant and watermelon. So the new updated list when we print it out is going to be apple, blackcurrant, watermelon, orange, kiwi, and mango. Okay. Because remember, we're swapping these out for these because we're going to be replacing 1 to 3, exclude 3. So 1, 2, exclude 3, and we switch them. Okay. And if we insert more items than we replace, the new items will be inserted where you specified, and the remaining items will move accordingly. Okay, so this is also a little tricky. Basically, what this means is that right now we're replacing one item, right? Because it's 1 to 2, exclude 2, so it's just 1. So we're replacing this one with something else. But we have 2 items here. So that means that it's going to basically swap this for this. Okay, it's going to put this here. So now we have apple, blackcurrant, watermelon, and cherry. I'm actually not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but yeah, we're just going to go with that. So apple, blackcurrant, watermelon, cherry, that's going to be the order of the list after we print it out. So yeah, all you need to know is that it's still the same thing, swapping, but we have multiple elements now. Even if I had 3 elements, let's say I added, I don't know, a dragon fruit. Even if I added like 3 things, it's going to add all those 3 things. It's just going to swap out banana with this whole thing. Okay. So yeah, and then this is just um, okay. So this is another type of replacement where it's not even. Okay. So basically, what's happening here is we're saying that we're replacing everything from 1 to 3, exclude 3. Um, right. So that's basically this. And remember, another way we could say this is because it's going all the way to the end, we can just delete this, and it should give us the same exact answer. Yeah. So remember that basically, if we want to get to the end value, we can just put nothing for the end, and it'll automatically assume, oh, it wants to go to the very end. And so if we're replacing everything from 1 to the end with watermelon, remember, all we're doing is we're just swapping things, okay? There's no need to overcomplicate it. So we're swapping banana and cherry, right? Because that's 1 to the end with watermelon. So now it's going to be apple, watermelon, as you can see here. So yeah, it's all just swapping. And to insert an item, right? Basically, that means we're adding an item, right? But like we're kind of squeezing it in the middle, right? So basically, we're not replacing any of the existing values. And in order to do this, we use the insert method. Now, the insert method basically, right, it does what it says in the name. It inserts a value at a certain index. So the parameters or the inputs for the insert command are going to be the index at which you want to insert something and the thing that you want to be inserted. So right now we're asking the compiler, or we're asking it to basically insert watermelon at index 2. This means that we have 0, 1, 2, right? We're gonna insert it after whatever index we're giving it. So it's gonna look like apple, banana, and cherry. Okay. So apple, banana, watermelon, and cherry. So it replaces it before. So my apologies, right? So it's going to insert it at index 2. It's going to make it so that watermelon is going to be at index 2. So that's the insert method. And if let's say that I wanted to insert it at index 3, okay. Now if I run this code, as you can see, it's going to insert it at the very end now. So now it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Watermelon is now going to be at index 3. So whichever index you want the value to be at, you're going to put it here. Okay. So if I put index 1, right, I'm going to make it so that watermelon is at index 1. Okay. Pretty straightforward. And that is it for changing the items. So for adding items, okay, we can use something called the append method. So the append method just adds whatever is in the input to the very end. Okay, so it just sticks it on there. And we already went over inserts, right? So this is going to put orange in the first index here, right? Okay, extending lists. So let's say we have 2 lists here and we want to extend one of them, okay? If we say this list extend tropical, what's going to happen is we're going to extend this list by adding tropical to the end. So the extend method basically extends whatever list is here, and it's going to add whatever is here. Okay, so this is going to be added to this. Okay, we can do this with, you know, we can do the opposite, right? So tropical dot extend this list. And then we're going to print out tropical because that's the one we're updating. So now this list is being added to tropical. Tropical is the one being extended now. So now we have the original tropical list and we have the this list extension, okay? And we also have adding iterables. So this is actually a tuple, right? We're going to get into this a bit later. But we can also extend lists by adding other data types. such as tuples. Okay, and if we extend this list by adding a tuple to the end, then all of these values are going to be added into the list, and it's going to stay as a list. Okay. So as you can see here, that's what's going on. We add the values, but we don't add the fact that it's the tuple. Okay. So we're not adding the whole tuple inside. We're really just adding the values inside the tuple. Okay, removing. So in order to remove any item, right, we're going to do the remove method. And so if we do this list dot remove banana, it's going to remove banana. And now this list is going to be equal to apple, comma, cherry. Okay, that's pretty easy. And if we have more than one item with the specified value, because remember lists can have duplicate values, then the remove method will remove the first instance of it. So it'll remove this one here. So now our this list will read apple, cherry, banana, kiwi. Okay, once we print it. Removing at specified indexes can be done with the pop method. Okay. So basically, if we want to remove whatever's at the first index, we say this list dot pop 1. Okay. So we're removing banana because that's at index 1. And now it's going to be apple cherry. Okay. And then if we don't specify anything in the pop, right? If we just say this list dot pop without any number inside of it, then it's just going to remove the last item. So this is going to be apple banana because we don't put anything in the pop. So it's just deleting the cherry. And we can also do something called del. This is not, I personally don't really use del. I like to use pop and remove, but del is still a thing. So all del does is it just does the same thing as the remove method or the pop, but basically it just does it in this other format. So del this list at 0 is going to delete the apple. So now it's just going to be banana and cherry. And you can also delete the entire list completely. So if we don't specify something at the end, it deletes the entire list, right? So if we try to print the list, it's going to give you an error because you've completely deleted the variable, which is kind of interesting to think about, right? It just deletes it from memory. And then clearing the list is different. So the list still exists after you clear it, but it has nothing inside of it. Okay. Basically, it just deletes. You can think of it as just deleting everything here. It's just remove, remove, remove. You can think of it as like looping through the list and deleting everything. Okay. So the list will still exist. It just doesn't have any values inside. Okay. Looping through lists. Okay. We will get to this. I'm gonna say that because we haven't gone over for loops yet, we'll just leave this for now. But yeah, I guess we'll just go through this in a very high level. So the easiest thing that you need to know about looping through a list is you can loop through it using a for loop. So what a for loop does is it goes through every single element in this list, and it's going to assign it to a variable, temporary variable called x. So if we print x, it's going to print apple, banana, and then cherry. Okay, because x is going to be equal to apple, and then after one iteration, it's going to be equal to banana, and then after another iteration, it's going to be equal to cherry. Okay. So it's the for loop is a loop that runs multiple times, and each time x is going to be equal to something different. It's going to go through them one by one. It just basically means for every element in this list, every element will be equal to x, and I want you to print x. Okay. So yeah, for now we will skip this, and we'll you guys can explore this once we go over the while loops and for loops. Okay, yeah, this is also for loops. So I will not cover this, but we will definitely go over this once the time comes for us to do for loops. Yeah, this is also all loops. Okay, sorting lists. Okay, so you can sort a list which will basically just sort it alphanumerically, meaning that it's going to sort it so that it's in alphabetical order and ascending numerical order. Okay, so once we sort it, you know how it's going to be like alphabetical order. So B comes before K, comes before M, comes before O, which comes before P. Okay, you guys get the idea. So that's the sort method. And then if we sort something that just has numbers, it's going to sort it numerically. So, right, as you can see, it's in ascending order. So that's pretty simple. And then you can also sort things in reverse. You just have to put reverse equals true as the input. Okay, so all you need to do is just sort it, but have reverse equals true in the parentheses, which will sort it in reverse order. Right, so this is reverse alphabetical order. And you can do the same thing for numbers. This is going to make it so that it's sorted in descending, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, and then you can customize the sort function, right? But this is a bit more complex. So basically, you can do key equals myfunc. So this basically is just saying that you have a function, my function, which takes in a parameter n, and it returns the absolute value of n minus 50. Okay, so we're basically sorting it by the absolute value of n minus 50, which is basically going to be equal to the key here, right? So the key equals myfunc, and it's going to pass in basically everything inside of the list into this. Okay, so to explain this in a simple way, basically it's just we're going through each of these elements, and we're gonna check what's the value of it after doing absolute value of n minus 50. So this would be 50. This would be 0. This would be 15. This would be like 32. This would be 23. Okay, because the absolute value just takes the absolute value of whatever is inside of it. So if we take this whole list, the first thing that comes is 50, right? Because 50 minus 50 is 0. Absolute value of that is 0. And then we have 15, right? You guys, and this is basically just a math thing. Yeah, so this will be equal to 15 because 65 minus 50 is 15. Absolute value of that is 15. And it just keeps going up until, and it's just going to sort it in that way. But yeah, you guys can have a function, and you can pass in the every single element of the list through that function, and this will basically be the case for how it's going to be sorted. And all you're going to do is say this list dot sort key equals and then whatever function name you have. Notice how you don't do the parentheses here. Okay. And then case insensitive sort. So basically, the sort method is case sensitive by default, right? But if you want it to be case insensitive, then you use this key called key equals string lower. So normally, right, it's going to sort it in case sensitive order. So the capitalized things will come first, right? So notice how K and O are first, and then it's B and C. But if you say key equals str dot lower, right? What this is going to do is it's going to pass every single value in this list through a function, right? Because the key is equal to a function. Whether that's your own function, whether that's a built-in function, it's going to be a function. So it passes it through the str dot lower. So it's going to say banana. and it's going to pass it in as lowercase banana. It's going to pass in orange as lowercase orange, kiwi as lowercase kiwi, and so on. Okay. So when it does that, it's going to see this as a lowercase, but it's like in reality it's actually still uppercase. So now we have a case insensitive sort. So it just goes B, C, K, O. Like it just treats it like they're all in the same case. Okay. Which is lowercase. So reverse order. So if you want to reverse the order of a list regardless of alphabet, right? We just do the reverse method on the list. So this is just going to flip the order. So it's instead of being banana, orange, kiwi, cherry, it's going to be cherry, kiwi, orange, banana. Okay. Okay. Copying a list. So you can't make a new list. So for example, let's say you have list 1. Okay. You can't make a new list called list 2 and just say list 2 equals list 1, because that just means that list 2 is referencing list 1. It's like it's basically like trying to, let's say that like you and your friend, right? So you didn't do your homework, but your friend did. So now you're both panic, or you're panicking, right? And you're saying like, oh, like, like, why don't me and my friend just turn in our homework together, right? That's kind of stupid, right? Because even if your teacher sees the homework, right, it's just going to be one page of homework, and you're saying like, oh, like this is also mine, right? So it's basically, you could think of it as one homework, two people, and two people are both linked to that one homework. You don't want that, right? So you want two pieces of individual homework. So basically what you can do is like you can run to the printer, right? And then you can get the piece of paper, which is like your friend's homework. You can put it in the printer and just copy it, right? And you get two pieces of paper, which is yours and your friend's. That's what the copy method does. Okay, instead of making it so that you both like are using one homework and you look dumb, it's going to copy the list, or make a copy of the list and set it equal to whatever new list you want. So if we have this list, and then we have another list called my list, and we want to basically set it equal to the same things here, remember, we can't say this. This is not going to be good. It's going to get really messy. You want to say this, okay? Because that's going to make a copy of this list and set it equal to my list. And now for print my list, it's the same thing as this list. And we can also do something called the list method. So you're going to, it's basically like casting, right? So you're going to cast this list into like a list instead of making it a reference, so that Python doesn't get confused. And you're going to set it equal to my list. So this is just another way to copy a list into another list. Yeah. Okay. And there's a lot of ways to join two lists in Python, but one of them is just using the plus operator, right? So we can say extend, right? In order to extend a list, but we can also just do list 3, or if we want to make a new list completely and make it equal to the combination of two lists, we can say that list 3 equals list 1 plus list 2. And if we look, it's going to be equal to list 1 plus list 2. Okay. And this is an, and then right, so we said, as we said before, we can also use the extend method, right? So pretty straightforward. Yeah, so it's the same thing that we looked at here, right, with the extend method, except we can do it with different data types as well. And so yeah, this is the methods in a list. So append, right? Append just adds like an element to the end of a list, and clear will remove all the elements from a list, but it won't delete it like del will, right? So if you have like list one and you say del list one, it's completely gonna delete the list, right? It's not gonna exist anymore. Copy, right? This is to return a copy of the list so that we can set new lists equal to existing ones. And then count is going to return the number of elements with the specified value of a list, right? Um, and then the extend, right? It's going to like list to the current list, so it's going to add that to the end for iterables. Index is going to basically just return the index of the first element with the specified value. So if we have like index of banana, right, then it's going to return like if banana is in the index 1, then it's going to return one. Okay, so like here, if we ask it to do index of cherry, it's going to return 2 because cherry is in index 2. Okay. Okay. Insert just adds an element at the specified position. So it basically like if we want to insert banana at index 2, it's going to just squeeze it in and make sure that it ends up at index 2. Pop will remove the element at the specified position. So if you say pop 1, it's going to remove the element at index 1. Remember, if you don't specify an index, it's going to just remove the last item. Okay. And remove removes the item with the specified value. So pretty much similar thing with pop, except here we're passing in the value, not the index. So we could say like remove apple. It'll remove the first instance of apple. Okay. Reverse will reverse the order of a list regardless of any like and regardless of the order, alphabetical, numerical, whatever. If we have a list of banana, apple, cherry, and we do reverse on it, it's going to be cherry, apple, banana, right? And sort is going to sort the list. Remember, there's a bunch of ways we can do it. We can sort using our own methods. We can sort case insensitive. Bunch of things we can do with the sort method. If you guys need any help on that, just make sure you just look it up on your own time because we gotta keep it moving. And finally, we're gonna do some list exercises. So can anyone tell me how we print out the second item in the fruits list? So how do we access the second item here? And remember, we're using indexes. So yeah, that is correct, Alicia. Good job. So we're going to use fruits 1. Okay, so that will help us to access the second list. Sorry, the second item in the fruits. So good job. Okay. Now we want to switch the value of apple to kiwi in the fruits list. Okay, and just a hint, we're also going to have to use indexes for this one. So how do we access apple and set it equal to kiwi? You guys can just give a guess. It doesn't have to be right. It's just important that you guys are participating. Um, so Jeremiah, that would be printing the fruits. That would be printing all the elements in the fruits list, but um, not sure what you're trying to do there. But yeah, we can start at the 0 index and complete at the last index because you didn't specify. So what you gave Jeremiah, if you didn't have the double quotes, would print out all of the items in the fruits list. And Alicia, good job. That is the correct answer. Yeah. So it would be fruits of 0 equals and then kiwi, right? Because we're trying to reference this, right? Which is at index 0. So in order to access any, sorry, I don't think I went into this in depth, so I apologize for that. But in order to access any part of the list, we're just going to do brackets and then index. So if we want to access banana, that's at the first index, we're going to do fruits of 1. Right now, we want to access the apple, so that's going to be index 0. Okay, and that's correct. Use the append method to add orange to the fruits list. This should be an easy one. Yeah, that is the correct answer, guys. Good job. So that is going to be the correct answer. Fruits that append orange. Okay. Nice. Okay. We have a few more to go. Use the insert method to add lemon as the second item in the fruits list. To give you a hint, for the insert method, the index comes first for the inputs. Jeremiah, that's close. Just remember that you guys need to have, or that you need to have an index specified. Okay. Um, so if we want to have it as the second item in the list, we're actually going to have to use Martin's. I think that's your name, but we have to use Martin's solution, which is fruits.insert 1 comma lemon. Okay. So remember that when we, oh, sorry, let me just do fruits.insert. So remember that when we are trying to insert something, we use the insert method. So it would be list name dot insert, and then in the inputs, it would be basically the index where you want to insert it and the thing you want to insert. Okay? If we want to insert it as the second item, then it's going to be at index 1, okay, because it starts at 0. So 0, 1, 1 would be the second item. So this is the correct answer. Now, use the remove method to remove banana from the fruits list. And to give you a hint, the remove method does not take indexes. Yeah, good job, guys. So that is the correct answer. It's fruits that remove banana. Glad that everyone gets the remove method. Okay. And then now we're going to use negative indexing to print the last item from the list. So negative indexing. Yeah, good job to Alicia. That is the correct answer. So it would be fruits of index -1, which is going to reference the very last item in the index or is in the list, right? And then second to last exercise, use a range of indexes to print out the third, fourth, and fifth item in the list. So remember how indexes work for this one. This one might be a little bit tricky. Yeah, so Jesse, that is correct. It is going to be indexes 2 through 5. So this will basically start at an index 2, which is the third item in the list. So 0, 1, 2. And it starts here and it goes 3, 4, and 2, 3, and 4, right? And it does not print out the fifth item. So this is going to be printing out the third, fourth, and fifth items in the list. So remember, basically fruits 2 through 5 is going to print out the second item through the fifth item, excluding the fifth item. So this is going to print out 2, 3, and 4 because we're excluding 5. And 2, 3, and 4 as indexes are the same as 3, 4, and 5 as the actual like items. Okay. Next exercise, use the correct syntax to print the number of items in the list. It's for as a hint, we use this method a lot for other things, not just index or not just lists. Good job, Jesse. Yes, that is correct. So it'll be len fruits. So that's it for the exercises. Just a thing for for you students, just make sure that you guys are renaming yourselves to have your actual name, not just like a Discord username. So like Jesse, thank you. Alicia, thank you. You guys are some examples of like what like the naming convention that we want for your guys' nicknames. It just makes it easier for all the teachers, right? Um, so I will be going over the homework now. So the homework for today is it's going to be solo learn and some other exercises. So on solo learn, you're going to be doing the working with data, control flow, and list sections. I'm going to be uploading this all to the homework channel, so don't worry. Um, so I'm gonna actually I'll just upload it right now. So it's going to be working with data, control flow, and lists. Okay, let me upload that right now. Okay. Um, and then I'll go ahead and upload this after class because it takes some time to type it out. But the other thing that you guys are going to be doing, which is kind of important, is the string exercises, the Python string exercises. Okay. So basically here, what you're doing is you have a string that's given and you want an output, okay? And you're going to make a program that basically changes the given to the output, okay? So for example, here we have James and we want it to be, we wanted to write a program to make a new string that's made of an inputs first, middle, and last character. Okay, so that's the type of program that we're going to be writing. So yeah, it's going to be the solo learn, and it's going to be this Python string exercise. If you guys don't have any questions, that is going to be it from me. But if you guys do have any questions, you can feel free to ask them right now. Okay. It looks like for the most part, no one has questions. So it was really great to actually see you guys' faces today and finally formally, introduce ourselves and hear your guys' introductions as well. Thank you guys so much for joining and participating. It's really great to see how fast you guys are absorbing the material. So please try to go ahead and get the solo learn done and these simple exercises done. Um, it's not today's homework is a little difficult, but I believe in you guys, and so does Chia teacher. So make sure you guys try to finish that. And when you guys do your solo learn, I noticed that yesterday, or yeah, you guys did not upload the screenshots of it. So make sure you guys are uploading screenshots of your solo learn, so that we know that you are finishing it, right? We know so that we know who's doing it. Um, but yeah, other than that, you guys are free to leave, I believe.
I think someone has a question.
Bye, guys.